Maybe taking a step back and just like tracing your journey over the last 15 years, you worked at storied brands through your life from GQ to Bleacher
Yeah.
Report. What was the spark for you in terms of tying brands to fandom and digital first, communities led? You've sort of seen that shift. I would argue that in the media world, Bleacher Report, House of Highlights, TNT has always been one step ahead of everyone else, specifically in the legacy media world in terms of new forms of fandom. And I'm curious, you've seen that journey. I'd love to hear some inside baseball from your perspective in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think I have worked at some incredible brands,
Yeah.
world-renowned brands, quite frankly,
Yeah.
and I think, one of the things that I realized early on was the cultural relevance of a brand and the importance of that brand to the fans or consumers and the culture at large as far as shaping the conversation. What has attracted me to those working at those brands specifically is then understanding the business of that monetization opportunity behind the cultural relevance that pushes a brand forward. And, joining Bleacher Report and House of Highlights, listen, it was a calculated risk
Yeah.
because it was trying to take the fandom that, yes, existed on Bleacher Report, but drive the cultural conversation in an age of digital transformation that while we had thought had sort of happened and was happening, when I look back now 7 years ago, I'm
Yeah.
like, "Dear God, nothing had happened at that point," you know?
Yeah.
So, it's been really fun. I mean, what is really fueling that, like, devotion to a brand is the emotion. It becomes really personal. It's part of someone's identity, and understanding that and respecting it in the form of a business. And, I think that media consumption on top of that then changes drastically. So, on one hand, you have to understand the technology that's at play. Then you have to understand the consumption habits of the consumer. And how do you tie those pieces together to deliver a product to an audience that is wanted before they know they want it?
Yeah.
And one of the things that I quickly learned and really appreciated at Bleacher, and I'm super proud to say it existed before I got there and it still flows through it today, is Bleacher's content team are fans of Bleacher Report. It's like built by the fan for the fan. And I think you feel that when you're on our app or on our O&O or consuming a piece of content that has gone viral outside of our ecosystem.
Yeah.
I think you really feel that, and that's part of Bleacher's specialness.
But I mean, honestly, I mean, even as a fan of Inside the NBA and Bleacher Report and House of Highlights, I mean, so many of our consumption habits having changed over the past decade. We hear about people follow more rather than watch kind of a thing. I don't necessarily look at it as a negative thing anymore. In the past, it felt like a disruption. This is not good, but I think it's been additive in the grand scheme of things. For the sports property holders, and now everyone is leaning into that power of social. I mean, Bleacher and,
Yes,
and House of Highlights, which also seemed like the perfect marriage at the time when it was done. I think
absolutely.
they were the pioneers in pushing that change, whether it was on the
Yeah,
app or on social in both places.
yeah. Yeah, for sure, and I agree with everything you said, and at the root of it, it's because a certain consumer fan base did not feel like they were being served,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And I think that's key to it, and it's why all these other brands, some of the most storied brand in the world who, back when I was at GQ would never have touched social, let alone us, really begging them to do digital, quite frankly. And now they're all over social because they understand that their consumers who are our fans, they exist everywhere.
Yeah. You need to meet where
You
they
have
are.
to correct, exactly.
Yeah.
And Bleacher was an early pioneer of that. And TNT Sports was in its own way with the development of Ernie and Shaq and Chuck, right? Like they understood that having these people behind a desk and sort of taking that wall down between them and the audience and therefore creating fans of those personalities themselves, let alone the sport, was a key to the success.